Hello, Audioholics. We are live from CES 2016 with probably my most anticipated product that I've seen, and I know a lot of other people as well. This is something that's going to redefine how we look at universal remote controls, redefine how we look at smart homes, and I'm here with Raphael from NEEO to tell us more about what is really the future of controlling your digital lifestyle. Thank you for joining us. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you're holding there?
So this is the NEEO Remote. We call it the Thinking Remote. We just wanted to revolutionize the way we control devices in our home, because we found like all the connected home products that came out just made our life more difficult because there's tons of apps and I need to launch apps on my smartphone, switch from one app to another to control things. And I already have that with remotes, and we thought we fixed that all in one product, and that's the NEEO Remote.
And to be clear, this is not just a universal remote for changing the volume of the channels on your television. It controls the smart home products, whether that's a thermostat or a light. It's really a do all in one. But we know that you're very interested in the home theater perspective, so we will focus a little bit on that. This hardware, though, we're going to take a much closer look at as well, because when I talked in our perfect remote video about what I envisioned to be the perfect remote, it was a combination of tactile buttons and a touchscreen. And it's like you robbed my brain using alien technology, because what I pictured, although it wasn't as pretty, is exactly what is in Raphael's hand here. So tell us a little bit about the actual hardware, not only the remote, but then the brain behind the scenes as well.
Okay, so for the remote, we were absolutely sure it needs to be a combination of the rich browsing capabilities that today's smartphones have, but then physical buttons, but reduced to an absolute minimum set of buttons that really make sense and work for about 50,000 devices. And that's a huge challenge to do. Like, there's good reasons why no one, not even the big guys, came up with something like this so far. It's a really hard job to do. So to drive that screen, we first started to look for OS that were out there, like Android or so, but we figured out the performance would not be great because it would be a remote that dies after a day of battery usage, and that's just not a great experience. So we built a team with crazy engineers from Silicon Valley and like some great guys from Switzerland to build our own remote OS. It's called NEEO OS. And it does very rich browsing, all that you know from smartphones, but consuming a lot less power, like 10 times less power than an Android. And it was sometimes a pain in between, but having it working right now is incredible.
And let me describe to you what I'm seeing, and we'll get a close-up shot of this as well. Again, tactile buttons down here, directional pad, it has on the side of the five-way, you've got a five-way directional, and then on the side you have your volume and channel dedicated, as well as a back and menu, and then a home button and a power button up here. But then this is all touchscreen, and this is all a beautiful, very thin bezel. It takes almost the entire face of the remote control up, and it's showing live information. In this case, we have Spotify coming up, but it also shows things like your television channels. And as you mentioned, the power, the low power nature of this OS is critical, because although it comes with this charging cradle, and this cradle, by the way, feels so sophisticated. This cradle alone is a work of art. Very heavy, very sturdy. You're not going to accidentally knock anything over. Although it's super easy to charge your remote, you still want it to have good battery life. So typical usage, you were telling me you're thinking a target of?
Yeah, like typical usage, a few weeks.
Few weeks. Anyone have a phone that can last a few weeks anymore? No, you'll be lucky to get through the day. And so you're never going to have to worry about if the kids forget to leave the remote on the cradle one night, coming down and finding out you don't know how to turn on your television by your fingers. This is always going to be up and ready for you to go. So one of the things that I think that we need to do is we need to see a little bit of this in action for people to understand just how much of a game changer this is. So we're going to take a look at that right now. All right, so right now we're going to take a look at this remote working in action. So describe for us what you're doing right now.
So right now we're controlling Roku. I just launched a recipe that displays Roku and gets like all the controls ready for Roku. So I can browse through my Roku, but there's still some automation happening. Like I get the right volume for the TV as example. Setting that up was typically very difficult with traditional home automation systems. You needed to like do programming. We didn't like that part. So all programming is gone. If I go back to the home screen, you see these little icons. They're all recipes. So when I add, let's say, an Apple TV, it creates this recipe. A recipe means it's more than just one thing. It's not bringing up just controls, but it also does all the switching and timings right. Like if I hit Apple TV right now, it switches the TV to the right input, it gets the Apple TV ready, and right now I have full control over the new 4th generation Apple TV. If I go back to the home screen again, there's more stuff, as example, the television. And there's some stuff that we found was wrong there too, that we wanted to change. Like if here, you see how you pick TV channels. We think the age of remembering numbers to get your TV channel should be over. So if you want to watch CNN, you should be able to just hit that button and then the TV changes to CNN.
All right, so in addition to controlling your standard home theater things, whether it's a Roku or a Blu-ray player or a television, we also have obviously this next generation of digital entertainment, such as the Sonos that we have sitting behind us. So why don't you go ahead and show how this very same remote is now interfacing with the Sonos.
Yeah, we wanted to have rich browsing features, no limitation. We wanted to connect to all the cool services from SoundCloud, Deezer, Spotify, all those. So it's no limitation, full browsing for Sonos. So it can be like a real full Sonos remote. If you pick songs.
So right now we're scrolling through the queue right now. He picks a song, it comes up, changes album art, control the volume.
Exactly. And it looks gorgeous on that screen. It's I love it so much.
It's tough. I mean, I'm here shooting with the little camera. I'm using my phone. It is difficult to see. You'll just have to take my word for it. This remote is solid. It is polished. In terms of being this is sort of, it's still pre-production, but you're getting very close to seeing what we're going to see in the final product. It is, I would be shocked if this wasn't a product from one of the big boys, the names that you can think of. But in addition to doing music, we've done entertainment. Let's take a look at these smart home features as well.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and control some lights. In this case, we're controlling a C-Wave light bulb that is in there. But really, we support like all the big standards because we wanted to have like a easy shopping experience for the customer, and also want to make sure we unify that in one simple interface. So if you already got some Philips Hue light bulbs and want to add some ZigBee or C-Wave light bulbs, that's just fine, and will appear in one unified nice interface.
And that is one of the big features. They've tried to make this open. They're not going to lock you into their ecosystem, make you buy their light switches. They've gone out of their way to work with as many of these products, whether it's Sonos or Apple TV or Z-Wave or ZigBee. And all of that is done right here in the brain. And there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff. We were talking for probably 45 minutes before the camera went on. This itself is a marvel. It controls not only the RF, the radio, but also the IR frequencies. And you were telling me there's so much special stuff happening behind here that makes this is so powerful. You're putting it under cabinets, behind couches, and it was still reaching the equipment. Why don't you give us a few highlights of the brain?
Yeah, we just wanted to come up with the ideal IR design. We have about 80 light guides in there. And just, we were actually, like 1.5 years ago when we had working prototypes, we were absolutely amazed ourselves how good IR can be. Because until then, we knew these blasters that you need to stick in front of televisions, or the hubs that you need to aim towards TVs, and we thought that's probably as good as it gets. Let's just come up with an ideal 360-degree version of it. And then when we started testing it, we were absolutely amazed and said, okay, that's how good it gets. You can really throw it behind your sofa and it continues to work. So that's the infrared part. But then to have it, to have that part really reliable, you also need to have the right drivers, the right database. And we spent tons of time, like a team of 7 people. There's almost nothing else but just developing those drivers, do lots of reverse engineering. It's quite a messy market. There are tons of products that are not documented. So we needed to go to shops, to stores, to repair shops, and get access to all those devices to actually test it, to get the timings right. Because the databases that you could buy in the industry, they were more or less just a big database of all the remotes that were available, but that's not the codes that you want. You want all the discrete codes that actually get the switching right. So if you do a recipe, if you want to watch Apple TV and you want to get the TV switching, doing the right switching, you need special commands that you typically don't find on a remote. And right now we have the largest database on this planet containing this, and that makes the product really robust. And that's really what we said. To have a success with that product and to have a great user experience, it needs to be like this. So there's some very old, strange televisions that will not support, because whatever we support, we want to have the users like a great experience with.
And that's the thing. You've all been there. You have a universal remote control, and you try to switch your inputs. You create one of these activities, and then your television turns off for no reason because it's on that toggle mode. It's not the discrete system. Talking with Raphael, what gets me is he's a tired man. He has been working hard, but the energy still, the enthusiasm. He's sitting here talking about this product, and he loves it, and I love it. It's easy to see why. This really is the future of how we're going to control things. And I think that one of the things that you all want us to be aware, I want you to be aware, this is real. I'm sitting in a real room. I'm seeing this in real life. This is happening. This product is coming. It's just a matter of being patient, because they are trying to get it right. They don't want you to have a bad experience where your television's turning off, or your lights aren't being controlled, or your battery only lasts 2 days. They want you to have weeks on the battery. They want you to have a television that does exactly what you tell it to do and nothing else. A brain that allows you to control IR or smart home features from anywhere. It's a cool product. I am rooting for you guys so hard, and I want to thank you so much for giving us a look at what I know is still very top secret stuff, and giving us a little inside peek there. So thank you. Is there anything folks should know, what steps they should take if they're more interested in NEEO, they want to learn more? What can they do?
So we write a blog. I try to do that every few weeks. Sometimes it's hard. We're a very small team, and like here building a trade show booth, it was us. It was not like a company that we hired. We were a small team trying to put all that together. And sometimes we're struggling. Sometimes people would like to read more. But the best thing to get more information about NEEO is on our blog, because whatever happens, the status of the project and all that is shown there.
Very good. And pre-orders are still open. People can still put their name in the hat?
Yeah, on NEEO.com.
NEEO.com. I'm not handing out best of CES awards, but from my own personal life, I want this so bad. This is the answer to so much of the problems in my life. And I'm so glad that you have the enthusiasm, the energy, and the passion that you've dedicated yourself to tackling this. And Audioholics everywhere, when you see this, you're going to owe this man and his team a debt of gratitude. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.